Hi, this is Lisa. In this video, I'll be talking about factoring by grouping. I have 3 steps for you. First, group the terms into pairs. Step 2, factor out the greatest common factor from each pair. And step 3, factor out the greatest common factor of the 2 pairs. I'm going to start by creating groups. In example number 1, the first pair and the second pair I put parentheses around. A times y plus 3a is 3 times a. When I look, my common factor is a. I'm going to write that down first, and in parentheses, what I have left, a y plus 3. Then I have my plus sign, and in my second group, 6y plus 18. If you don't know how to factor the common factors, go to your program. Program number 3 is greatest common factor. Hit enter and then type in your 2 numbers. In this case 6, enter, 18, enter. And my common factor is 6. So I have 6 times y plus 18 is 6 times 3. My common factor here is 6. I'm going to cross that out and write it down. And what's left behind, I have y plus 3. If you notice, our 2 sets of parentheses have exactly the same information in them. That's my common factor. So I'm going to write that down, parentheses, y plus 3. And then if I look at what's left, I have a plus 6. That goes in a second set of parentheses. Once you have all your addition and subtraction signs inside parentheses, your expression is completely factored. Now we can check by multiplying. If I do a multiplication or a FOIL of y plus 3 times a plus 6, I should get what I had started with. Y times a, or ay, plus y times 6, or 6y, 3 times a plus 3a, and 3 times 6 is plus 18. If you look at the original problem, it's exactly the same 4 terms. The middle 2 terms are in the opposite order, but it still gave us all 4 terms. It checks. In this example, we have to be really careful when we have a negative sign here. When I put parentheses around the first pair, I don't have any sign changes, but when I put parentheses around that second pair, I've changed the sign of 5r squared. I have to change the sign of 10. So now when I go back and distribute, I have exactly the original problem that I started with. My smallest number of r's, or the exponent, is 3 here. So I know I'm going to factor this as 2 times r cubed. And r to the 5th factors as r cubed times r squared. There's my first group. Common factor is r cubed. I write that down first, and in parentheses, what's left behind, r squared plus 2. Bring down my subtraction sign, and I have in my second group 5 times r squared plus 10 is 2 times 5. 5 is what they have in common. I write that down first, and in parentheses, I'm left with r squared plus 2. Common factor here, r squared plus 2. Inside parentheses, and what's left is r squared minus 5. Again, I did not write that down. That should have been, r cubed plus 5. So r squared plus 2 times r cubed minus 5. And you can multiply those back out to make sure you have the original problem. And our last example. When I put parentheses here, I don't have to worry about any sign changes. I'm going to factor this. M squared is the lowest exponent that I have, so m squared times m will give me m cubed minus 2 times m squared. Common factor is m squared. Write that down first. In parentheses, put what's left, m minus 2. Bring down my addition sign. My second group, I have 5 times m minus 10, which is 5 times 2. Now I'm only factoring out the 5 here. That's what they have in common. Not a negative sign, just a 5. And in parentheses, what's left? M minus 2. Common factor is m minus 2 inside parentheses times m squared plus 5. In this last step, what you have in parentheses should always be exactly the same. If it's not, you've made a mistake somewhere before you got to that step. So double check all of your signs and make sure everything works out correctly. And that concludes the video on factoring by grouping.